Let's do it.
And starting your stream. YouTube thinks we're bad. We know we're good. We're
No, we're
starting.
good.
We're live. See you soon.
Oh, look, Phil's in the chat room. Yay.
Oh my goodness. Your audio is right, like, sort of 5 seconds behind my. I restarted this dang computer and.
What happened?
Oh, I don't
The
know.
video and audio are behind?
Yeah, they really are. Maybe
Okay,
Teams is struggling this morning.
I'm just gonna talk without my lips, so you
Yeah,
just don't know what I'm saying or when I'm talking.
yeah, there is
I'm out.
that. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
Nice.
I'm okay, everyone. Good morning, hello, good evening, good night, good now. um, I restarted the laptop. It should be fine. It doesn't seem like it's struggling with anything, but I don't know why. Let me just. I'll do the practice thing. I'm moving Daniel's lips at the time that we need to move him. Say something, Dan.
Hello.
Oh, it's caught up. Man, that was.
Yay!
Yeah, I know. So yes. The 365 Mr. Center show. How about that? I got it right in the first time. Um,
Fantastic.
I know. I'm just really, really working it here. We do have a lot to go through, don't we?
Yes,
A
we
lot
do.
to go
We got to
through.
get to it. Yep.
Yep. Let's just cut straight over. I know that you're
Okay.
Daniel, the guy from Nashville, the home of the next notice on the notice board.
Well, I will say, if people did not see, maybe I tweeted it, but Music City earned its name this weekend. We had from Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night, we had eight major names playing
What?
from Keith Urban, Journey, Def Leppard, Beyonce, Jay-Z. Um, anyway, Taylor Swift. So we had all those playing in 3 nights span.
Oh
It
man.
was huge. Anyway, so we earned our nickname Music City this weekend. So
Yeah, and you probably have your own traffic police force for it.
so I will say one thing that was interesting, and we'll get to the show. But one thing that was
Yeah.
interesting is that they shut down a whole section of the downtown for the Taylor Swift concert. At the end for parents to pick up their kids.
Hmm.
Because you drop off the
Yeah.
kids, go to the concert, and they shut down a whole like section and a bridge just for pickup for people
Oh, that's
that went to
cool.
the concert. Yeah.
And they did the same for the Def Leppard concert for those of us who are kind of old and need our frames out to.
No comment. No comment.
I grew up with that. Anyway, on with the show. Um, we go down to there we go. August the 20th,
Yep.
Tuesday, August 20th.
Correct.
Shared
So
with me OneDrive on business mobile apps.
yeah. So we've talked about this a couple times, haven't we? About this shared with me, experience
Mm.
of getting to the files. Shared by me, is where I share content out, and shared with me is content that's shared with me. And so, kind of having that organized view of the content
Mm.
that's shared with me. So, this is bringing that experience to the OneDrive for Business mobile app, which is awesome, right? We like that unified
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, definitely. I like to be able to find what people have shared with me without trying to hunt through
Hmm.
emails or
Who was it?
IM.
And what was the name of it?
Yeah,
And yeah.
yeah. So up until now, we've had the shared with me, but now we
Hmm.
can put that in order and find that kind of stuff by just trawling on through, filtering, and saying, just show me
Hmm.
everything from Dan.
That's right.
We don't have a search button yet, though, do we? Like, you use the search and you go find what people have shared with me.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I looked and I did not see that. So that would most certainly be a welcome addition.
Yeah, I must check the roadmap. These
Yep.
days, when you ask for stuff, they've often already got it in the pipeline. All right.
Hmm.
Oh, and Dean Gross has also joined
Yeah.
us. Cool.
Hello, Dean.
Um, New feature. So you can prevent forwarding meeting invites in Outlook. I do like this one because sometimes you feel like you've invited a few friends to a nice, intimate party and our house party. This is just an illustration, and then someone hijacks that and forwards it on. I think I'll share it with other contacts as well, and away we go. Now, you are a meeting organizer, so you get to know these things anyway.
Yeah,
you'll see
right.
this on behalf of.
But it's kind of too late then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Once you've done that. So this feature allows you, when you're setting up a meeting, to prevent forwarding. It does not change your previously organized meetings, so none of those settings are going to be changed. And it doesn't change the default. So the default will allow forwarding. This one is for, new items, and you have to go in there and change it for the new item. So,
Yep. But definitely a welcome feature for meeting organizers. And what else can we say about it? Existing meetings, as you said, third-party attendees using third-party clients or older versions of Outlook will be able to attempt to forward. But they'll get an NDR request.
So if you're using a newer version, it's not even going to let you attempt a newer version of Outlook. If you're using an older version of Outlook or some other third-party client, then you're going to be able to say forward and send it as if it's going. But you're going to get an NDR message back saying, nope, can't deliver.
Yep. Yeah.
Now,
so
it's kind of that whole thing about, well, can't I just copy the details of the meeting and send just a regular email and paste that? Yeah, of course you can. This is the same way as, yes, we could prevent people from downloading material off of SharePoint or printing it, but if they have their phone, they could take pictures of their screen too, right?
Yeah.
So, copy paste, right, or whatever. Yeah. So, yes, that would work. This is just preventing them from formally sending the meeting notice. So. Yep.
So any of those NDA meetings that you get invited to, you can't forward them on, but yes, you could be a something. I can't think of a polite expletive this morning.
Well, I think it's, you're doing it on purpose, right? Sometimes you forward a message to the wrong person, and it's happened to the best of us. But if you then say, oh, I can't forward this, so I'm going to copy and paste it, you've taken the step to be proactive in getting around the intent of the meeting organizer.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. What have we got now? We have also got applying a existing site design to associated hub sites in SharePoint Online. This sounds like it's going to make our job easier for something, but you were telling me about this, Dan. It feels like it's more than just design and look and feel. What else is involved in it?
Yeah, so site designs are fairly new for us in the SharePoint world, and it's not a in the UI kind of experience. It's definitely development right now of creating a site design, but what it does give you is the capabilities to design, theming the site, but being able to create lists and libraries and create site columns and such right when the site is created. So that's what a site design is for, is saying, when I create this site, I can pick, I want this type of site and the site design, and it's going to start off that way. Well, this is talking about, okay, I have a site design, and I want to associate it with a hub, a SharePoint hub site, so that when a site is associated with that SharePoint hub, that site design is applied to that site that is now associated with the hub. So if you want sites to have a certain look or functionality when they get associated with a hub site, then this is the way to go. I think this is we've been asking for this pre-hub, and so pre-hub sites functionality, and now that we've got the hub sites, it was like, well, we want the delivery of the promise that if I associate a site with a hub, I want it to get I want it to be part of the family, right? I want that experiences and the look and to be what I determine it to be, because it is associated with that hub site. So
we didn't have it with subs, but we have it with hubs.
Okay, yes. I see what you did there.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was pretty good. I
No,
liked
not
it.
really. Sorry, yeah, early morning, bad humor. I've got it out of the way. It's out of my system now. But it
Are
does
you
sound like it.
sure? I
Yeah, no,
don't
it's
make
never out of my
promises.
system. um, but I do see that really useful for like site columns, and you're wanting to try and get that consistency of metadata across, the purpose of
Mhm.
the hub. So the hub might
Right.
be that it's all IT projects or all somethings. You've got the central place to control the project ID, and you want that to be available across all the sites connected to the hub.
Yeah,
Does it happen
that's
only at
that's
the time when
actually.
you
I'm sorry.
join?
Go ahead.
Does it
What
only
is it?
happen when you join a a site to the hub, or now that it is joined, any changes that I make to the hub will always
Hmm.
reflect?
I think the way site designs work is at the time. So
Uh,
whatever the site design is, then when the site is associated. Now, can you make a change to a site design itself and then apply that? I do not
mm,
know.
mm,
That is probably a question for some of our developer friends. I do not know the answer to that.
all right.
Going back to what you were just saying, I think that is actually a use case that's come up in several projects of mine. Is I have project sites and I want to have like a status list,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason why you would want that is trying to use out of the box functionality to have a roll up of all of your projects and their statuses. So you could use a search web part, right?
Yeah.
And go say, I want this content type or this column name from every site in this hierarchy, and I want the value of status, for instance. And so being able to do that with a site design would be easy, right? You could add that
Mm,
list, and then me as a project owner or manager would be updating that, and so it would show up in that search web part. Now we could still do this manually, but with the inclusion of a lot of our sites have had publishing turned on, or we're just not able to take those um, site templates. And so, especially in with the modern sites as well, so we couldn't say I'm going to set up my site and then I'm going to save it as a template and then
mm-hmm.
just create sites from that template, and they would include
Mm,
our list and such. So here we're able to, with a site design, kind of do that, and it would fulfill that need for standardizing. If you're, like you said, associating a site with a site hub that is for projects, for instance, then you can apply that formatting. So it's
mm.
really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, this next one, I know you're not a big fan of Sway in general. It is I've seen it as a good tool, especially it's been quite popular in education for just throwing something together for a presentation, not having to give too much concerns about design.
Hmm.
It's really focused on content, and you can present embedded online content within this way of doing things. Um, uh, the Sway iOS app is moving to sway.office.com.
Hmm.
Um, so rather access Sway for
Hmm.
iOS access is moving to sway.com. It's a funny kind of title there, because actually if you read a bit more about it, the iOS app is going to no longer be supported.
Right.
That they're
That's
not putting
actually
the
the key.
Yeah, it really is. The focus is going to be on improving and adding things to the app experience within
Right.
the web browser, not as a standalone app on devices. Um, that's okay. I mean, as long as like the mobile app's a good and usable app as well, so all good there. I know there's a few people that even like Louisa Fries likes to use it to share some of her sketch notes and
Hmm.
make comments around it. So quick way of
Yep.
doing that. Anyway, moving along. So privileged access.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this is, and it's a, sort of termed in the exchange area. Of course, exchange is kind of leads the charge with a number of these sorts of
Yep.
management
Yes.
things, and then SharePoint and other services follow. Privileged access is you have your scenarios where sometimes it's people within your organization or maybe partner organizations that need to perform administrative tasks for you on your behalf, or maybe within your org. But you don't want to just give them full admin access or maybe a certain role.
Right.
You want to do it as a just-in-time way, where you're giving them just the right amount of permissions at the right time, or even an approval way of doing these things. And so this privileged access management is exactly that. Starting with Exchange, you're going to be able to set up a group, allow people to make requests to perform significant tasks within Exchange. And they say that there's a workflow behind it. The workflow is that there will be an email sent out if someone performs this request who's in that group. And you as the admin can go in and you can approve it. However, like with most of these commands, especially at the beginning, it starts with PowerShell. So if you go through to the additional information, you will get additional information, of course. It is limited to Exchange PowerShell. And they give the example here. If you go through and you set up your privileged access group, your approvers group, you can start to enable privileged access for that group, create the approval policy, and then as people are using it, so they might create a new task, and you'll get that email. You can view the status of those tasks, so that you can output this into a CSV file and see all these requests that have been made. You do at this stage also have to approve these using a PowerShell command as well. So you go, yep, that's great. You can go ahead and do that. It's even in PowerShell you can say, I want to do this because there is a comment field within the PowerShell to say this is why I'm doing it.
Well, and you're right. A lot of functionality we get is PowerShell first. And so, but you could see that playing into the UI, right? When I go to approve a request, having a comment field to type in why you're approving this or why you're denying it. This is definitely showcasing why, they say if you're going to be an Exchange admin, you need to be a PowerShell expert. And because everything you're doing has PowerShell and will often be PowerShell first for a while. No idea when this will come to the UI. But yeah, so being able to not only approve, deny, but also check the status of, and all of that is all done with PowerShell.
Yep. And means that also you can do a number of things in scale too. So, plenty of benefits for putting the time in there and understanding it.
Yep.
SharePoint Online view formatting?
Yeah, this is... we've had list formatting, column formatting for a while with SharePoint to be able, and that was announced at Ignite, I guess, last year. This is the ability, and really what that was is you could take a column in a SharePoint list and say, I want to format this column. And so that column could be a status, for instance. And so say, make it green if the status is good. If it's bad, if it's delayed, make it yellow. If it's stopped, make it red or whatever. So this is talking about basically that same kind of concept, but bringing it to the whole list view so that you could do the whole row. Say, instead of just saying this column, it was always just that column, you could say, go ahead and format the whole row based upon content in one of the columns.
So this item becomes fully red, which means that I can see the whole item rather than just seeing this column, square, cell thing.
Right. If you click on the additional information on this one, it kind of shows you a little bit. This article, you could tell, is not fully baked. It doesn't have all of the information you would think it would. It doesn't even have a view with sample data. It's they've covered up the data that's in there, so that's interesting. Or actually, it may be just to keep you from being distracted with the data. But anyway, so you see now it's the whole row is being able to format. And I think this is the fulfillment of really what we all wanted and desired. Kind of going back to projects status is the easy one to think about. We were talking about before. I want to see the whole row to be, I want to look down. I don't want to have to look at the status field to see which ones are red and green. I want to, be able to look at any column down and say, oh, this one's red. Why? Because the status is this. So I really like this for usability. Yep.
All right.
And if you don't know Jason, then get to know him, because this is not, it's code. Anybody that says JSON is not code, hit me up. We need to talk. You need to go to counseling. And we'll
Yeah,
anyway.
like going to those sessions where create this and you don't need to know any code, but you do need to know scripting and this and that, and you might plagiarize a few things here and there from GitHub, but that's all good.
Yeah, no, there is a complete section of examples that, to get you there, but they're not, not everything's there. And honestly, I have played around with it several times and gotten lost trying to make it look exactly the way I want to. So if you do get it to working the way you want it to, please contribute it to the community so we can have more examples. I think the ultimate place I'd like to be is the formatting be, kind of like what I got in Word, or, that enhanced, that rich text to say bold. I want it to be red. I want it to be underlined. Go. I don't want to have to know code to make this happen. Make it more like Excel formatting. If it equals this, then red. Done.
Yep.
I don't want to have to brackets and all that.
Though if we're talking about theming and making things look right and all that, you'll always have one code, won't you? Hex code.
Yeah.
No, it can't be that shade of red. It clashes with our...
But you're using hex codes, in this, so it brings it all together. Yeah.
Very true. Okay. Okay, so there was a bit of planned maintenance for Yammer, so that's good. Good to know that as it happens.
Azure. Yep.
And adding a SharePoint Online page. We can add news from other sources and sites.
That's right.
And it will create a rich preview when we paste that link into a page. So I might grab something from a blog site or from some news, or kind of the experience that we have when we drop in a video link into our email. It'll grab the thumbnail for that.
Exactly.
And then create that rich preview.
No, and it's really slick. If anybody's added, for instance, you could add a link to this show and tweet about it right now.
Of course you can.
We'll wait right here.
Yeah, and take screenshots, and if you can drop that in a tweet to @regarding365, we'll think of a prize that might be worth your while. Well, we might even mention.
Don't give them all these instructions. We're supposed to be waiting. They're supposed to be pasting and just.
Yeah, but it's not a quick operation, though, is it?
But,
even slower if it's using PowerShell.
No, but so that experience of getting those previews and such. So we're kind of used to that experience when we're creating content or sharing content, and so this being able to, when we're creating a news item, to grab a link saying here's an article somebody posted on LinkedIn or their blog site or a news site, it grabbing those featured images. And making it feature rich is good, because that's probably what we're going to want anyway, right? To incorporate some of that content. So I think this is great. Now, of course, you don't have to keep it, but I mean, this is one of those that I've seen demoed, and I liked it when I saw it demoed.
I don't know where it is in this article. It's that it's almost like the texts. The ancient texts from Mark Cashman, written back in May. We will refer to those again, chapter and verse. It's somewhere in here.
Right.
It's somewhere in here, but look, there's the libraries and bits and pieces. So if you want to go through and find it, would have been good to see like an example. But just go ahead and do it. And
I agree.
Send your examples to @regarding365, and we'll think of something to reward you.
We'll applaud you.
Yeah, we'll do that, and we'll get you on the show, and we'll ask you, how did you do that? And no, maybe. And our last one, SharePoint
Wait a minute.
Online.
Let's go.
Did I?
We skipped one. Go.
Did I just superimpose? We started talking about.
Yeah,
so
we need to talk about adding to Teams. Being able to add SharePoint content to Teams. And so this one is the being able to, Microsoft has talked about this. Right now, the documents that's in Teams is a SharePoint library, right? But it's really kind of you don't get that SharePoint functionality in that library at all. It's just the documents, and so they're bringing the SharePoint more of the SharePoint experience in to the tabs for pages and news and lists, to bringing that additional functionality into Teams and those tabs. So I think it's a great thing. There have been some people that were like, I don't know if I want all that SharePoint functionality in my Teams tab, but I like it. I think it's good to. We'll see in practice how it works well, but again, the demos that I've seen, it looked pretty slick.
Yeah, and your typical examples of that are adding a document library and seeing it as a document library with your column formatting, with your row formatting, with the same look and feel. Actually, the one that I demonstrated recently and said this is what's coming, I said, now if you want to synchronize your document library, you have to go through and view it in SharePoint, and then you can click your sync button, and then you can connect it there. So end users, they're like, yeah, this is great. We still get that Files Explorer experience.
Right.
But when you're able to add the library as it appears within within SharePoint, you don't have to go through to another thing to click sync and connect to that folder or that document library.
That's right.
Good. So Leah, looks like we spoke about the other one too soon.
The other one first. That's right.
So we were viewing this
excited
to begin with.
Yeah. We were excited.
And talking about the tab that we're adding to Teams, and then we've already talked about the SharePoint.
We talked about one
online.
of the things. Yeah, we talked about, so what we were just talking about, being able to bring in that rich text if we paste from a news site or so forth. So bringing those featured images and such, that's great. The second part of this message is having really co-authoring. When someone's co-editing a modern SharePoint page with you, you'll be able to see who it is and contact them. I'm sorry, when someone is already editing it, you'll be able to see who is editing it and be able to contact them. And then it's because when you edit it, you're locking out the page. If you're editing the page and you walk away for 5 minutes, then it's going to time you out. So that is so other people can jump in and edit it. So it's no co-authoring. I misspoke. It is just making sure that, hey, I want to edit this page. It's checked out, or it's being edited. Who's got it edited? There's no way to tell, except now we'll be able to, when this is released, to see who it is and be able to ping them. And I like the timeout to be able to say, if I'm not editing in 5 minutes, I'm gone. I don't like the 5 minutes part because 5 minutes is a long time. There's not a long time, right? You get a phone call and you chat. You're editing. Well, if it times out, what happens to all your changes? I think they get saved. I'm pretty sure the way it's working, your changes to your web parts get saved, but then it's going to release that edit, I guess. So 5 minutes seems kind of short when you're working, right? When you're someone calls you, an urgent email comes in, you got to respond.
You can check the page out though, can't you? So you could say, like, rather than just opening it up and working on it, you can check it out and say it's mine. I'm working on that.
Not the modern pages. Okay. We're editing those without checking those out. So this is the, being able to we edit those on the fly, and I think this is 5 minutes seems short. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. Well, that's our last announcement in the message center. Quickly going through, right? There was a ton there. And there was a couple of things that I can see coming in Teams that were being finally introduced. So your blur, your background blur, which is going to be quite useful for people who are in an office, they're having a meeting, they don't want to necessarily share their colleagues' antics behind them in the open office space.
Or they've written something on the whiteboard and they don't want to, maybe that's data that they don't want people to see, right? Mm-hmm. And so blurring, I think, is a fantastic feature. Remember, though, when you move, it unblurs, like, the part around you. So, if you were to move in front of the whiteboard and back, it might show something. But anyway, that is true, and I'm ready for that functionality. I think that'd be cool.
There was a few other things that are dropping into Teams as well. I can't recall them. They do follow some of the famous people there who are doing things within the Teams team.
Right.
Did you notice anything else throughout the week?
I did not. I mean, there are some things around SharePoint, and just wanted to mention, and is that, we have this big conference coming up in less than a month, which reminds me I need to work on some sessions. But but they're announcing all these features for SharePoint. What are they hiding, or what? Not hiding, but what are they keeping back to reveal at Ignite? It's kind of an exciting time to be anticipating. I hope they've held some things back.
Yeah, true. And that's when we can start talking about this now, Dan. We're going to try and get the team regarding 365 team. We're speaking at Ignite to just rattle off a blog post to say what they're going to be doing there, or maybe record a quick video to say what they're covering.
I already have. Yeah.
You have, yeah. You're going to queue that up sometime. We'll get that onto the site with a bit
the video has been created and published, so you can go into my YouTube channel right now and see it. But I am working on the blog post to incorporate it and to send it out. Cool. So yeah.
Good. I've seen another post there from Lorian Strand too, so he's doing some things there. So there are a few of us that are speaking, and apart from that, we're also just getting up to some sharing that conference with people. That we're working on a can I say something about a fun run? Is that a bit early? Yeah.
Maybe go ahead.
Some fun, yeah.
I won't be running.
No, I can't. Lorian said, "Don't wait till we get it all queued up." So that's all right. There'll be things like we're going to go into the immersion zone quite a bit and check that out. So I've seen some early mock-ups and stuff of what's going on in there. It's going to be a good zone to get into and experience the tech and engage more with your peers as well. Some interesting concepts there. Can be quite competitive. I know how we all like to play games and show we're better at something than the other person across the way. So yeah, keep an eye out for that.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's the 365 Message Center today, last week, this week. Tune in next week when you'll hear Dr. Bob say,
"Oh my."
Yeah, that's an old Muppets quote.
Yes.
We haven't really thought of something there. Anyway, we'll catch you again next week. Thanks everyone for joining in the live chat. We'll catch you again. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.